What do you think of this right here? That's right, we finally did it. We have achieved a goal that I've had since the beginning of my channel. Well, since I had begun to start getting serious with my channel several years ago, actually. Several years ago when I started to become a Let's Play channel, I actually decided on this goal of trying to reach 500 subscribers. But I foolishly tried to do that within a year. I didn't quite do that. I did manage to get to 100 subscribers along that line, I think. I can't remember. But as of right now, we are at that 500 subscriber mark. Now, I know chances are by the time I upload this, YouTube will purge some people and a couple of people will have left. And my sub count might drop below 500 literally overnight as soon as I upload this. But right as I speak, there's 502 of you, and you guys are making this channel what it is today. You guys are also making the Discord server what it is today, which is awesome. And for those reasons, I feel it appropriate to actually make these videos every once for each of these milestones that I make up. We've gotten to the point on the Discord server where I actually needed to promote somebody to an administrator and promote somebody else to a moderator. By the way, we are still looking for another moderator, and there are a lot of great things that are happening on the Discord server and on this channel, and it's all thanks to you guys. And honestly, it was one of my goals was to try to get up to this point this year, and honestly, it happened way faster than I thought it would. If you guys wish to help out the channel even more, there will be links in the description below to Coffee for one-time donations and Patreon, which will give you special roles in the Discord server. With that all out of the way, time to get to the neat little story that I promised you guys about how I broke this arm. I'll start off with a little bit of backstory. I'm the middle child of 3 brothers. So I have an older brother and a younger brother. I believe my older brother was the first to break a bone. He actually broke his collarbone. He was riding a mountain bike, and he went over a jump, and he landed a particular way that actually caused it to just snap somehow. My little brother also broke a bone. I forgot which one it was, but I remembered he broke a bone. I just can't remember what the hell it was. But they were into like mountain biking and stuff like that. My little brother was into all kinds of different sports, so it was just a matter of time before he broke something. However, I was not that kid. I never was, and currently still am not interested in any type of sports. I just thought of sports as just kind of being pointless. I mean, aside from playing, small games with like your friends or something like that, it just really never caught on with me. I was actually seen as the one who was least likely to break something. In fact, there were points in time where my mom actually believed that I wasn't ever going to break a bone. And for the longest time, I was proud of the fact that I never broke anything. In fact, I was one of the few kids in my class that had never broken anything when I was in school. That was until I decided I was getting interested into skateboarding and things like that. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the Razor scooters, but we had been playing on those for the longest time, and I scraped the hell out of my arms and legs going down a hill at full speed. Almost got hit by a car that time. But I went from that to transitioning to wanting to ride skateboards because that was just kind of the culture in the school I was in at the time. Like, everyone was into skateboarding, everyone was a bro and all that shit. So I was, trying to learn the basics, trying to stay on the board. And I was doing something one day. I forgot what it was. I think it was like I couldn't have been on the phone. There was no way I could have been on the phone. This was before cell phones. How old was I? I think it was like 13 or 14 years old, somewhere in there. GameCube was still popular at that time, so if that gives you sort of an idea. So basically, I was trying to learn how to do skateboard and stuff like that, because I was actually interested in trying to learn that. It was pretty much the only sport I kind of liked. So I was dicking around with it one day, and I was trying to jump on it while it was still moving. But anyone who's been skateboarding at all knows that when you try to land on the skateboard, you have to have your feet land at the same time. That did not happen. My back foot landed first, which caused the back of the board to actually hit the ground, and then my front foot hit, flinging the skateboard forward, and my entire body flew backwards. This would be kind of hard to demonstrate on camera right now, but I stuck my hand straight out like this, with my hand pointed out towards my fingers were pointing backwards. And I was moving backwards, and I hit the ground, and as soon as I did, I heard a snap. And I didn't know what the hell happened at that time. I got up, I looked down, and my arm was bent straight up like that. This is one of those times where adrenaline makes you do stupid things. I only thought, oh, I must have dislocated my arm. So I grabbed it, and I went snap, and I went, Oh. Nope. It's broken. Yeah, you can kind of see how it kind of curves down a little bit like that. And by the way, it wasn't all the way straight. It was kind of at that angle. I'd say 35, 38 degree angle, somewhere like that, if for you math wizards out there. I see this. Luckily, my older brother's home with me. My little brother is somewhere. Honestly, can't imagine where. I think he was at a friend's house or something like that. I decide, hey, maybe we should get an ambulance here or something like that, because I'm pretty sure my arm is not supposed to have been there in that exact fashion. Also, I was fairly certain I broke it at that point. So I go in to my older brother, literally holding up my arm, and I look at him and I go, hey, I think I broke my arm. And yes, I did it in that exact fashion. He starts freaking out. He immediately gets on the phone with mom. He grabs me a pillow, puts it on the kitchen table. I set my arm on it, and I just wait. And while he's talking to mom, he's freaking out. He's saying things like, oh, yep, he broke his arm. We really need to get an ambulance down here, and I don't know who to call. I was like, and we need you to come home as soon as possible. He's like, and my mom tells him, okay, calm down. Let me talk to him real quick and see how he's doing. So I pick up the phone and I go, hey, mom, said you hurt yourself skateboarding or something like that? I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I broke my arm. And my mom's confused because my older brother is just losing his shit. And I'm here calm as can be, going, yeah, yeah, it definitely broken. Yeah, it ain't quite looking right. Okay, don't call an ambulance. I'll be home in just a little bit. I'm like, okay, you're the boss. You hand the phone back to him. We were just sitting there waiting. We put on a little bit of music. Back in the day when you owned CDs, well, we owned CDs because we were broke as shit, but the rich kids had iPods. And iPods had 4 buttons on them. So my mom gets home. She comes downstairs to the kitchen, which our kitchen was downstairs. I don't understand this house, but I loved it. All right, she comes into the area around the corner and goes, okay, so what's the problem? And I go, well, I think I broke my arm. She goes, oh, wow, you weren't kidding. It is broken. It was like, as if I would lie to you about something like that. All right, well, let's just get you to the car and I'll take you to the hospital. It's like, all right. And the most horrifying part of the entire experience actually happened while we were trying to transfer me into the car. I was lifting my arm so that I could walk around. And then my older brother, I think, looks down at the pillow and realizes there's blood on this pillow. And my mom looks at him and he looks at me and goes, let me see the bottom of your arm real quick. Lift it up and there is blood dripping right here from my arm. And I'm hoping like hell that I just scraped it. And my mom is the one who throws out the idea of, okay, you probably had a bone come through the skin, so we definitely need to get to the hospital now. So we speed off to the emergency room. And this is where things get fun. So for those of you who don't know, I was a good kid. I had no interest in drugs, no interest in smoking, no real interest in drinking. In fact, it was hard to get me to take Tylenol. But what's the first thing that happens when you have a major break like that and you go to the hospital? They want to give you drugs. Now, I remember telling them that I'll be fine, I don't need drugs. But I also remember my mom telling him, just go ahead and give him some. He's probably in some pain. So they gave me a few shots of Dilaudid. If you guys don't know this, Dilaudid is basically refined morphine. Within seconds, I was feeling fantastic. You think my jokes right now were bad? You should have seen me then. Jokes were happening. I can't remember them all because I was on drugs at the time. Legal ones, don't get carried away. Shit. They took me in, they x-rayed my arm, and we were waiting for radiology. There was a nurse in there. She was giving me drugs to keep the swelling in my IV down, but it gave me some horrible itching. It caused my nose and stuff to itch, and I couldn't scratch it with this hand or this hand because there was an IV in my freaking elbow. So I had my own nurse sitting there scratching my nose periodically for me. And apparently I was also hitting on her, so that's fun. I was about 14 years old hitting on a nurse that was definitely older than I was, and I'm pretty sure she had a ring on her finger. So don't do drugs, kids. And more fun ensued because they got my x-rays. They looked at the break, and I broke both bones in my arm, the radius and the ulna. One here, and the other one, I can actually feel the points where they broke. That's where the first one broke. And right way down here is where the radius broke. So right about there and there. And from what they can gather from the x-rays, the ulna, which is the one on your pinky side, by the way, came through right here. And I don't know if you can see it, but I have a scar there where the bone actually came through. If my mom can actually find the x-rays and send me images of them, I will show them to you, or I will have them up on my Instagram, which will be linked in the description below. Unfortunately, that means I'm probably going to have to undergo surgery. And also, we need to reset the bones, because remember, they're still a little bendy. Bendy bones aren't good for growing boys. Life tip for you. So we have to transfer from there to a hospital about, I want to say it was like 30 minutes to an hour away. It was a big enough deal that my mom actually called my dad, who lived, we lived near the St. Louis area at the time, and he lived in Columbia. He drove down to come see me to make sure everything was okay. Actually, no, I forgot. Yeah, it had to have been an hour away. So he drove an hour out of his way to actually come see me. And unfortunately, I had to take an ambulance there because they did not trust us to drive there for some reason. I don't remember what the whole spiel with that was, but the ambulance ride was actually kind of boring. Somebody told me the old wives' tale that if your nose itches because mine is itching, somebody's thinking about you. Yeah, no, it was actually just a reaction to whatever histamine blocker they were putting in my system. And also, they kept giving me Dilaudid. So I get there, and they decide, yep, they're going to have to right away reset the bone, and then they're actually going to have to put me on a dry diet while they decide whether or not surgery would be a good idea for me, because there's still a bone that came through, which could get an infection. So there's a possibility they might have to go in there, scrape off the infection, and then close it back up. And that's ultimately what I was actually terrified about. And then what they did was, they had a couple of nurses actually put me in this weird thing that's holds your arm up so that the doctor can straighten it. And I kept referring to it as Chinese finger torture. Everyone was laughing. Then they gave me another drug that was supposed to make me forget a bunch of stuff. It kind of worked. And the reason for that was because, I don't know if you guys have ever had a bone reset, but it is painful as shit. Yeah, the Dilaudid was not covering that. And so the next thing I remember was they gave me a shot. I didn't remember anything until I started feeling this gut-wrenching pain coming from my arm as they tried to reset it multiple times. And it felt like forever. I remember like jerking over trying to get away from it while a whole team of people were holding my arm in place so that I couldn't get away. And then going, oh, look, I'm still in the finger torture thing. And I look around and I remember a bunch of nurses being read. I didn't realize this till years later, like when I was 16, that while I was in the hospital, under the influence of Dilaudid, that I was hitting on every single woman that entered that freaking room aside from my mother. And they gave me a drug to forget about all that. I forgot about the best part of the story. The following day, I had to have somebody there to stretch my nose. I was actually admitted to the hospital, and I had to stay there, and they didn't give me any food whatsoever. Because I might have to go into surgery, and you can't go under anesthesia with food in your stomach. You may throw it up and aspirate. So I was bored as shit. I was hungry as hell. My nose was itchy. I couldn't scratch it. I was in a temporary cast, and I had to go in for surgery. Aside from that, it was pretty uneventful. I went in for surgery. They put me under. And then I remember waking up and actually trying to stand up. Somebody advised me not to do that. I'm pretty sure I told that person to go fuck themselves. Yeah, for some reason, when I'm waking up after anesthesia, the first thing I want to do is actually get up. And then when they said it was okay for me to get food, I ate everything in sight, which is currently what I'm doing now that I started working out again. And I had a cast from here all the way up my elbow to make sure it didn't move. And I had that for several weeks. On the bright side, it got me out of a lot of schoolwork because it was my right arm that broke. And that's the hand I used to write with. And that's the story you guys were promised. Thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. I can't believe this day has actually come. And I guess the next thing to look forward to will be the 1,000 subscriber mark, which I can't remember if I had anything planned for that or not. Somebody remind me in the comment section or over on our Discord server if I had anything for that, or leave me suggestions as to what you guys want me to do next for that milestone. And like I mentioned before, you can go to Coffee for one-time donations or to Patreon for monthly recurring donations, and also join us over on Discord and subscribe for more content like this if you're not already subscribed. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to show me some love down below by hitting the like button, and don't forget to check out the annotations for more videos. And I will see you in the next video.